Well, hello, everybody. My name is Steve Boston, and this is the beginning of a new YouTube channel that I call Niche TV News. And I'm creating this channel because, as we all know, mainstream media often gives us reports of events and news, but they don't really tell us very often why events happen and what's going on behind those events. I'm a TV producer. I've produced several shows. I've pitched a lot more that weren't produced, but I guess it's like when you throw some seeds off into some soil, not all of them come up, do they? Just maybe a few. So that's how it's been in the television business for me. But in addition to that, I've spent many years studying psychology, politics, history, and I've come to the conclusion recently that when I see the news and other people see the news, we only, as I said before, get a certain perspective. And one of my main topics that I want to discuss today is what I call conflict of beliefs. When two opposing sides fight each other or have an impasse, it's not just the surface event that just when somebody wakes up some morning and Russia decides to invade Ukraine, or the Houthis decide to bomb ships, or the Israelis decide to bomb Palestine, or if some Palestinians decide to capture some Israelis. People just don't wake up one morning and after some sugar pops cereal and just decide this is what I'm going to do. They have a certain set of beliefs that propel them to take action. And in my opinion, when people resort to violence, it's because all other forms of action seem to be cut off from them. Whether they are or not, that's what they believe to be. So I just want to discuss briefly this topic. And in the topic of conflict of beliefs, I think with two opposing sides, it's like two walls. I look at it as two walls. And if you can picture a tree, like in my logo, if you picture a tree growing up between these two walls, I look at that as the possibility of a seed, a bridge belief that can be found between the two to find some reconcilable way forward. Because even with vastly opposing beliefs, there has to be something, some sort of humanity, something that both sides can seize upon to build that bridge belief that can then move past the impasse. So that's the object of this particular video and this particular series of videos within Niche TV News, is to discuss and to bring up certain ideas that opposing sides have, and not just that, like I say, they woke up one morning. Now, as far as the Houthis go, we hear that they are bombing ships in the Red Sea, and that these ships are mostly Israeli, U.S., and other ships that seem to be in that group of nations that are supporting Israel. So they also didn't wake up one morning and decide, let's go bomb some ships in the Red Sea. Now, I see all violence as a desperate act and that it is wrong. But let me just go over a few of what I perceive to be their beliefs and why they're doing what they're doing. And forgive me for referring to some bullet point notes that I have right here in front of me, so I don't forget something. The Houthis, another name for them are Ansar al-Allah, which means helpers or supporters of God, in the name Houthis. And they are a group in northern Yemen. Yemen used to be two separate countries, so to speak, South Yemen and North Yemen, until I believe 1990. And now it is one Yemen, but the Houthis pretty much govern the northern part of Yemen, and I think mostly out of the city of Sana'a. And they are a Muslim, part of a Muslim group of Shia Islam, which Iran shares. Shia Islam is different than Sunni Islam in Saudi Arabia, because Shia Islam, they believe, as far as I can tell, that the leader of the Islamic community must be a descendant of Fatima and Ali, which is the Prophet Muhammad's biological daughter, as has been stated by this group, and from Prophet Muhammad's cousin, Ali. So that marriage, going down through history, is what the Shia Muslims believe, and the Houthis definitely believe in that particular line. So that's their belief in that form of Islam, which is, I guess you could say, just like in Christianity, you have Christians, you have Catholics, you have Protestants, and in Islam you have these particular sects and divisions also. And they believe in the right to rise up against oppression. This is one of their main beliefs, and they see that in Israel-Palestine, that the Palestinians in Gaza and other parts of Israel are being unjustly bombed, killed, and they do not see any progress toward peace, and they see themselves as the fighting for those oppressed peoples. And this is why they say they are bombing the ships in the Red Sea until there's a ceasefire or until there's peace. And when there was a ceasefire briefly recently, they did stop bombing. So when we hear in the news of them bombing ships, this is the main reason, is that they are bombing them, as far as they believe, to help the Palestinians fight back against the Israelis in their points of view. They believe in, well, back to Islam again, they believe in the Shia form of Islam. In Saudi Arabia, they believe more in the Wahhabism, which is a Sunni Islamic belief, and this is a major dividing point between Saudi Arabia and the Houthis. So this has caused a lot of the friction over the years of basically the conflict and the war of those two particular nations on the Saudi Arabian Peninsula. Sorry once again for my notes, but I don't want to forget anything here. They strongly believe in the right to resist and fight oppression. They have a strong belief in a moral code of honor, justice, and loyalty. This is largely overlooked when we talk about the Houthis, as if there are some just wild gang that's just roaming the desert in tents. They are highly civilized. They are tribal, but they have a strong moral code. Whether you believe in that moral code yourself that they have or not, that's not the point of this video. That's their strong belief. And they also say that although they receive financial assistance and military assistance from Iran, that they are not proxies of Iran. This is what they do state. And I don't know the truth behind that or not. I do think that they do receive support, but to a large measure, they do act on their own, and they are doing much of this bombing, I believe, on their own. So these are some of the beliefs that reside underneath their actions, and what, if any, what I call bridge belief can we find between the United States and the Houthis, and Israel and the Houthis. Because if we don't talk, if there are not any diplomatic relations, then it is just one action against another. It's a very surface kind of you did this and then we're going to do that. We don't have to understand them in the way of showing, let's say, sympathy for that side, but we do have to understand where they're coming from. It's just like I've been a boxing trainer for many years in my past, and you just don't go into a fight without trying to understand what your opponent's strategy and tactics are. Otherwise, you're just winging it. I mean, you may win, but you may get knocked out very easily because you didn't take the time to study and understand those tactics. So in my next video, I am going to discuss what I believe to be some bridge beliefs that we can focus on, that both sides can try to bridge a gap, to bridge that gap so that some progress can be made. So I want to thank you for this first episode of Niche TV News and the series of conflict of beliefs, which, if you stop to think about it, there's a conflict of beliefs basically in life, whether it's relationships, whether it's within families, it could be as large as wars between two nations and two disagreements, a conflict between two communities, or whatever. And it really comes down to a difference in a set of beliefs. And it's the beliefs with like strong, very strong ideas that people hold. And as we all know, a belief doesn't necessarily mean it's true, because if two opposing sides hold two opposing beliefs, can they both be right? Maybe. But a belief is a belief about reality. It isn't necessarily reality. So thank you for watching. Until the next episode, take care of yourself and have a good day and a good night. Steve Boston here, and let me just close it out. See you later.